Take a good gander, Uncle Sam.
That kind of like makes the Uncle Sam thing hilarious.
The band was called Tucked by an
Uncle Sam.
Old dirty
Okay,
Uncle
it wasn't that. Okay, let me try. I'm gonna try it like this.
Jordan, you have to consider that you might just be a group of cats.
Do you know, like, maybe, I don't know.
If you want to say.
There's no outside confirmation that I'm not. I haven't seen anyone in days.
Right.
I have no idea.
Jordan, have you video communicated on this computer before recently?
No, never.
You never have?
I don't think so.
Have you ever like set up any like security that like you don't want your camera on before?
I think I did have it attached to another webcam, which I thought maybe it was set to the other webcam that I had in my office. But it's not that.
Your office is just full of a dark
Is there a
room.
cog? If there's a cog, you should click the cog.
A cog? Okay.
That's great advice.
Your button.
Click the cog.
Oh, okay, I see a cog.
Did you try turning off your computer and turning it back on?
Oh, camera is muted. Tell me why. Why is the camera muted? Hi.
Madison!
Madison!
I miss everybody.
We're all here in the
Your hair is so curly.
Faces. Also, the dog is here.
Oh, we've seen the dog.
Your picture's good.
Thanks. I'm real.
Yeah.
Okay,
She's real.
it says my camera's muted, but there's nothing telling me. There's no like indication that there's any way to change it. So, is a button maybe? Perhaps there's a mute. There's like a video.
That's just the button on the main video screen that looks like a little camera that apparently is just putting a line through it for you.
Yeah.
When you went to the general settings, what is the video? Is it set to? Are you on a Mac?
No.
It's a Dell.
It's a Dell.
It's a Dell. Okay.
Like the famous singer.
Well, if you could share your screen with us, and we can collectively try to make this work. Or
hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna try this other browser. Let's see what something happens.
turn on this.
Two computers at once.
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that.
I started streaming this because I find it entertaining. I like when the show starts with a slice of life.
I'm gonna try one more, one more browser. One more.
It's kind of like how Space goes.
It is kind of like I'm Space Ghost.
That's what I've always.
Borat.
Yeah.
My wife.
Borat.
I said Borat.
That's why it was a funny joke.
What's that guy doing now? Did he use himself up?
He's married to that woman who played fake Ron Howard's daughter on Arrested Development.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
What? Fake Ron Howard?
Oh, you mean
real Ron Howard, fake daughter.
Who's the fake daughter?
Oh, what's her name?
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes, Ron Howard's fake daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard.
His real daughter.
What?
It was was it Isla Fisher? I think it's Isla Fisher, right?
Yeah, and she was also in Now You See Me.
And
Didn't
Curb.
see that.
She's on Curb recently.
Curb Your Own Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Own Enthusiasm. Yeah.
Curb your own enthusiasm.
Yeah.
No, for those of you who don't know, Curb Your Own Enthusiasm is just Connor's what Connor calls Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That's how I mispronounced the name of that show. I really hope to meet Larry David.
I think I would like to see your interaction with Larry David.
Yeah, I hope you
Me
meet
too.
him too.
I think that we're going to like each other.
I think you would really like each other, or maybe
I
hate each other because you're too similar.
No, they would immediately bond over like
Golf.
some minor detail, some like a snack food or like a riff of a song, like one specific like really silly thing.
Yeah, that's
And
very true.
they're
I
gonna
don't
hit
think it
it
would be
off.
golf. I'm very against golf.
But then there's gonna be like, yes, that's gonna happen. Then Connor's gonna be like, I don't like golf, and then Larry's gonna be like, come on, man, golf, and then you're gonna fight about that.
Yeah, I'll say something about classism, and that'll really make
Yeah.
that'll be the problem.
That's where the schism's going to be.
I abhor money,
Yeah,
He's really rich.
yeah.
and people who have money think it's irresponsible to abhor money.
That's true.
That's what Curb Your Enthusiasm is basically just a show about how rich Larry David is.
Yes.
Like
There was an awesome quote in
Yeah.
this book about how
that's exactly what the show's about.
Wait, Ryan's saying something about the book. Let him say something about the book.
Remember that quote that's near the end where he talks about how like if every man needs to have he needs to abhor money or else they're not really a man, like they're not truly human or something. You know
Oh
what I'm
shit!
talking
I
about?
don't remember that.
Think about that. I'm a man. Yes, I am, and I can't help but abhor money.
You got
Somebody
the
is-
Corona box coming.
Somebody's got the sleepover.
What?
What?
It's like sleepover level jokes now from being quarantined.
Totally.
Look, we're just excited
Well,
to
that's
see
what
each
we
other.
always do.
Yeah, this is the most
My,
people I've seen.
My contribution to the world of jokes like that is that I posted an Instagram story of pineapple juice, and I said, I laughed for a really long time. I said, now I'm really embarrassed that I'm talking about it. And I said, does this pea look weird? It tastes different than usual.
That's a good joke.
That's a very good joke.
I thought it was really funny.
Good job.
Well, now I'm going to join Instagram.
You're gonna get on Instagram just to look at that one story.
I mean,
Strictly
that
for the
sounds really
people.
funny.
I think you'd have a fun Instagram. You should do that.
Yeah, you have fun. You could have fun on there.
Yeah, when I get these cartoons done, then I'll start advertising. on Instagram.
That makes sense. We should talk about that today.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
I've been writing
Oh,
more.
you know what else? You know what else we should talk about today?
Oh.
The Book of the New Sun,
Yeah, are we starting with chapter
Perhaps.
29?
starring Severian the Lame.
I think we've
My
tried
pencil-
starting from
my
chapter
pencil-
30 the last three
My
times.
pencil is here.
Wait, where did
Or Jen's pencil.
My
Everybody.
pencil is at the beginning of 28, but was the last meeting the one that I had to? No, I was there at the last meeting.
I'm on page 342.
Oh, I'm on 349.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
I
those
had
guys sound like they're 2 chapters past that.
I had 29 written down, but what's in 28? What happens?
On the march.
Let's find out.
Oh, he's still captured by Vodalis here, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, the beginning of 28, where my pencil is where he's talking about the ceremony before he leaves.
Yeah,
To leave the earth.
I think we got up to that
we
point.
talked about that.
Yeah.
I remember us talking about how we hadn't talked about that at the end of like last.
Anti-gravity training.
I think this
So
is
then
where
maybe
we are.
Maybe we should start there. That's where my pencil was.
Yeah.
Pencil don't lie.
Usually,
Pencil don't lie.
usually the pencil is a pretty good indicator.
I mean,
Pencil-
I leave it
pencil
where
of
we
truth.
stop, like this. That's it.
Man, nodding doesn't make sound.
What?
Like I was trying to nod really hard to try to get my screen to become the big screen, and I couldn't do it because nodding doesn't make a sound.
No,
You're right.
you gotta like cough and then nod.
Well, I just want my computer to react to the presence that I'm exuding rather than the volume of my voice.
Tim, that worked really well. Like,
Yeah. I like, honestly, this kind of works to simulate the effect of us yelling over each other, because I feel like it just like flashes each of our faces as we interject something.
yeah, it's good.
It's all right.
It's fun to be going
Sure,
through
Tim,
this
it's awesome.
part of figuring this out because I've been watching all the news people do exactly this. Like
Yeah.
figure out how to run their shows like this.
Right.
But they'll usually only have 2 people.
Yeah, talk shows too.
I have been watching. Have you been watching The View? How is The View?
Yeah, better than ever.
Oh boy,
The best. I love it.
that's got to be crazy in this format.
How is
They're
the
nattering
view?
at each other about nothing.
I don't. Is Bette Midler on The View? Is she still alive? When is The View?
No, she was replaced by Joy Behar.
Joy Behar.
Yeah.
All I know is Whoopi Goldberg is on it,
Yeah,
but I don't know the other ladies.
There's John McCain's daughter.
I like to think that Whoopi Goldberg just changed Hollywood Squares into The View.
Yeah,
Like The
Yeah.
View is a soft reboot of Hollywood Squares.
It's Hollywood
Close.
Squares without a game.
Hollywood squirts.
Hollywood. I got an
Whoopi
idea for a
Goldberg
show.
was the main producer of Hollywood Squares, and now she's the main producer of The View.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Right,
So-
she was always on Hollywood Squares. I forgot.
She
about
was
that.
the center square.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, she
Sumerian.
came in as one of the squares, and then she liked it so much she bought the show.
So Severian.
All right.
He's
Shut
the
up.
center
Oh,
square.
oh, I think I
Okay.
figured out. I think I might. Maybe you can do it. Hold on. Wait,
Yeah!
hold on. You can.
I'm gonna miss the cats.
And then the show will start.
Only 12 minutes in.
I mean, this tracks. This is how we would normally do it anyway.
The cat. Oh, hey!
Hey!
Yay!
Now it's just one cat.
No, there's a couple here. You'll see them soon. Yeah, I just used it. I need to plug it in though. But go on, sorry.
I think Connor was gonna, or Ryan was gonna talk about the book.
Oh, I was just trying to rein it in.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't actually want to talk about it.
No, I do, but I don't have a thing to say. Is what I'm saying.
BRB.
Okay.
Oh, Connor.
So this dude is. This is where they're walking, and then in this chapter they get ambushed.
You're looking at 28.
Yeah.
349.
Yeah.
So we don't want to talk about that
Didn't we talk about that ceremony?
anti-gravity.
Not really.
We're going to talk about the last 10 chapters of this book for 4 months.
It's not that bad.
It'll
I mean,
be
I'm not
so cool
upset
when we
about
talk about the next book.
I did think that we talked about the ceremony, but I'll talk about the ceremony.
We definitely talked a little bit about the ceremony.
I remember us kind of broaching it, but not really like exploring. Like we
Let's
didn't really
explore.
talk about it. I think we talked about how we wanted to talk about it, maybe.
Let's explore it now then.
What's the difference between talking about wanting to talk about it and talking about it?
Oh my god.
Because we weren't actually talking about it.
It's the beat.
Ah,
You got to have the
here we
beat.
go.
Classic Wolfpack.
This is an instant classic Wolfpack right out the gate, I think.
This is the best one.
It's the whole world is in sleepover mode right now.
It's
No.
actually really hard to talk about a book in this format. Like I don't know how to start. Like what how do we do it?
Well, it's been hard for us to talk about this book.
Well, maybe we should talk about the end and like general, like how people feel about the end of this book, and which is also the end of the quadrilogy, right?
There's so much.
Tetrad.
Tetralogy.
Tetrad, sure.
Brad.
I think tetralogy is the word that's typically used.
Foursome.
I think tetrad is better.
Sure it is. But I don't know. I felt like it gets kind of like, what's going on? What are the stakes? But then somehow in the last couple of chapters, I liked it a whole lot, and it was like I was ripping through it again.
Yeah.
Like at the very last, like pretty much once he's like, so the book's over, and then I'm gonna say one more thing, and then he says like 10 more things, but I liked all 10 of them.
What do you like about him?
I mean, I guess a lot of stuff is happening really fast, so nothing is like, what's this? Like we're getting like little snatches of things really quickly instead of like slogging through the jungle, wondering when something's gonna happen.
Yeah. A lot happens at the end of this book. Like,
Yeah.
so much, and there's really like so many questions. I've started reading Earth of the New Sun in the last like couple weeks, but there's so I mean, if that didn't exist, even that it does exist, like there's just, I don't know, so much that happens in the end here, and you don't really get a grip on it. And I think that's what makes this book kind of cool. Like it's so mysterious at the end.
It's about the journey, not the destination.
Totally.
So the destination is just a journey in a larger world. Kind of.
It's like the turn up the screw. It's back to the beginning, but with some experience points.
That's right.
Yeah, which I actually find to be really Dickensian, and I found the beginning of the book to be really Dickensian too. And I feel like I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel the influence of Dickens really hard in this.
Definitely.
Scenario as Pip?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is the Pickwick Papers worth reading?
I don't know that one.
Oh, I bought it a while ago and I haven't started.
Probably. I mean, if you like Wolfe's writing style, I feel like Dickens is right up there. I mean, obviously not science fiction, but in terms of like class consciousness and like all these like details and creating this full world, like
Yeah, that's true.
Dickens is good.
I think the Pickwick Papers are really funny. They're supposed to be sort of full, like culture satire, which may or may not be interesting for a modern reader. I'm honestly not sure.
I think I got it because I like jokes and I heard it was like the most zingy.
That was he serialized that one. I think that was like one of his first big successes, where it was just like every week he would have like little like vignettes from the Pickwick Papers, and that's kind of what got him popular. So I think they are kind of like episodic and jokey.
But I forget who is his girlfriend in Great Expectations. Does anyone remember? Something like Catherine or Elizabeth or something. You know who I'm talking about.
The woman from the Royal Tenenbaums.
Gwyneth?
Yeah.
No. No, yeah, but anyway, that book ends so Great Expectations, if you haven't read it, begins in a graveyard where this kid like stumbles upon some grave robbers.
Oh.
And he meets this girl, and then like years later, like decades later, the very last page is him going back to revisit this woman to marry her.
Oh shit!
Exactly,
just like this book.
It's exactly the same. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I find Valeria to be one of the most enigmatic characters in the book.
She gets so little time. We don't know anything about her really.
She obviously has like an immense amount of power, but she's never like foreground character in the book.
Yeah.
Is she outside of time?
Valeria's whole story takes place between the two books. It's like the War in Heaven. It takes place between the Old and the New Testament, so you never really get to hear about it.
Right.
That's one of the most frustrating things about Christianity.
The War in Heaven?
Yeah, it takes place between the Old and the New Testaments.
Who's fighting in the War in Heaven?
Lucifer and God.
Oh, the idea is that all of that happens after all the Old Testament stuff?
That's what I've heard.
I didn't
Like,
realize.
the Old Testament, God and Satan are still best friends. In the book of Job, they're like, hey, I bet you I can make that guy not like you. Kind of, that they're good friends.
Huh. Wow, I guess I never heard that either.
Oh,
I gotta go back and look at Paradise Lost.
Yeah, I just assumed that the whole Paradise Lost stuff happened before humans were around, but maybe I'm...
Well, yeah,
Yep.
because the angels go and talk to Adam in Paradise Lost, like,
Right.
and the fall has just happened.
I guess it would be safe to assume that angels and demons kind of exist outside of a human timeline.
Yeah. Hey, so
So-
does Valeria exist? Is she outside of time completely?
yeah.
She's in corridors of time.
The atrium of time is outside of time, right?
I think so.
Is it as far outside of time as the corridors of time?
No.
I don't know if it's as outside, but like a similar thing, right? Like she's got her own timeline there.
Maybe
I think
like
for all
a-
intents and
maybe-
purposes, yes, it is.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
like thing that's around in the corridors of time.
Because Severian tells
I
us.
couldn't understand what you said, George.
What?
I couldn't understand
Jordan,
you.
you're not very loud.
Yeah.
Oh.
Say your piece, Jordan.
Oh, okay.
Just shout.
It's like
I'm going to shut the window.
the microphone.
Not getting it, Jordan. I can't hear anyone actually.
You
I
can't-
think.
I haven't talked.
Oh,
Can you, yeah. No. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
yes.
It was just really far away from me. I wasn't thinking at the microphone. I was just saying that maybe the train of time is like this like thing that's floating around in the corridors of time.
Because we learned that the corridors of time are outside of the universe.
Right.
In this section,
Right. Yeah, but like,
so the atrium time is also outside
but
of the
couldn't
universe.
it? Right. Like, he found there's a way to get there, but
Yeah.
who knows where the time really is?
Right. I think it's just a way of it's just like a Wolfian way of saying it's not of this planet. Like the corridors of time work differently.
Well, they don't happen within duration.
Mhm.
Like if time is entropy, that entropy doesn't work on them, therefore they don't occur like in a timeline. They're outside of time. And the atrium
Yeah.
time is the same way. So like they occur at every point in time because they occur at none of the points of time. And that's why they are the corridors of time. That's how you can use them to travel through time.
Right.
When we had talked before about the idea that Severian dies and a new Severian takes his place, is that because we go to a different universe? Like, you know how we learn in the end of this book, Severian explains how the universes are like the universe contracts and then expands again, and every time it's kind of the same. There's the same planets and the same people, more or less. So, I guess I got the impression that parallel universes are in serial in this book.
Or at least that's how we're experiencing them.
Yeah, and so is the time.
I think that could potentially be two different kinds of other universes.
Go on.
Well, I think that you can have universes that happen sequentially and then also orthogonic to time have different possible universes.
Okay.
And so like when you're experiencing this kind of quantum immortality, which I think is what we're getting through Severian, like you're sliding parallel to time each time you get a new Severian rather than like jumping forward to the universe that happens after ours. I think.
I kind of remember us saying earlier that this narrative, it sort of captures like so here's Severian starts here, and then he goes here, and then he dies. He would just be dead in the end in this, but we're catching the narrative that catches him alive, and then it goes along, and then he like he dies in another one, but he goes along, and this is like the perfect thread of those parallel universes where he like lives and then becomes like Autarch.
It makes me think of a video game.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah, we're experiencing the absolute or whatever the perfect timeline for all of this stuff to happen.
Yeah.
If like a video,
which there is a theory that this is what life is, that this is what we all experience, quantum immortality, and it's slightly different from the video game respawning idea, because when you go to the next universe, you don't remember the previous universe you were living in. You rewrite to that timeline, justifying that this is the only you that's ever existed. I don't know if that's different than what you guys are saying.
I guess I'm saying that, like, in the experience of the real experience of the player, there's been a death and then a restart that continues the story before that death, and then at the end, you've experienced all these deaths, but there is also a narrative in which all of those deaths were circumvented, and like that's the story you end up with. And,
although there are some games that sort of play with that, like, I don't know, like the Souls games where you're supposed to die over and over and over again, and so that's your continual death is part of the narrative.
Yeah.
As opposed to
that's a new element.
Starring Tom Cruise.
Yeah, so when you're playing Mario or whatever, the story is Mario gets through all of these different levels and saves the princess, and he doesn't die at all. But you, the player, are learning from those deaths that exist outside of they exist outside of the main narrative. So I guess the main difference, like what Connor is saying, is like Severian doesn't learn from the deaths that he experiences because he's within the narrative itself.
Yeah, he's Mario.
Although
maybe somebody in this narrative, like the Hyrule would be the player,
right?
Or
exactly.
God,
so the Hyrule are they're experiencing it on this meta level, and Severian is only experiencing it on that like singular narrative level.
The player is the Platonic form or the Holy Guardian Angel.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, in Connor terms, yes.
Or ancient Egyptian terms, thank you.
They're Connor terms now.
Conlish.
It's Conlish.
Conlish.
Is there it?
Like Simlish.
What is Simlish from?
Sims.
Oh, right.
You know how those people talk? They go, blah, 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 blah.
Do you think they're having any really in-depth conversations about the books that exist in their world? They all seem pretty stupid. I don't.
That's how we would seem to the Hyrule.
That's
what I was gonna say.
That's true.
Okay, so we're
Jordan disappeared.
Do we? Should we go to 28? Should we talk about that ritual now and try to get kind of chronological?
Yeah. Let's.
The skulls.
So what page are we on?
349.
350.
With that pencil.
Okay, 349. I'm on it. Or it's
I can't believe our little chat's not full of people right now. What do they got to do?
They probably
can't
know about it. That we're doing, yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty bad about advertising.
Fair enough.
And also, we always cancel whenever we schedule anything.
Well, I mean, this time there's a plague.
And we didn't cancel.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
We have no excuses. No one's going anywhere.
Because we're all responsible.
I might go to the woods later.
That's okay if you're by yourself.
I'm going to go to the theater. but I'm by myself.
Yeah.
By yourself, yeah.
The important thing is loneliness.
That's right.
That's
I feel horrible.
that's how you kill coronavirus. You feel
Yeah.
lonely.
You surround yourself with a field of loneliness.
Yeah.
I'm just surrounded by animals. I never feel alone.
You know who's lonely? Severian.
Oh.
And I guess Gene
That's
Wolfe
true.
maybe too.
Because you want to know why? Because he's a bad friend.
But his girlfriend in his head.
One of the morals of this book, I think, is that if you are ultimately selfish, then you're ultimately alone.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So stop being so selfish.
You don't have to be alone.
The only way to not be lonely is to consider other people.
Oh, huh. And then you also, when you're selfish and alone, you're also kind of like the ruler of everything that nobody really knows is the ruler of everything.
Autarch. Oh my gosh. So autarch, autism. Like of course, Severian is autistic.
Wait, doesn't autarch mean like self-ruler or something? Is that what that
It
means?
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan, is your microphone like buried in a blanket?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it is.
You also have
Yeah.
such a wonderfully artistic framing.
Yeah, like Jordan refuses to be in the shot.
It's because I'm on a tablet, so it's just weird. Maybe
I don't care what it looks like, but it sounds like it's in a blanket. Oh,
Oh, no.
No, it's under a blanket.
Wait, did she completely fall off the internet?
What? I don't know.
What?
Jordan's just fucking with it.
Hi,
I'll
Jordan.
just pop laughing. What?
chaos.
Okay.
Maybe this is better.
Well, I mean, does anyone have anything to say? It seems like no one actually has anything to say about that.
About the zero gravity
I'm just
ritual?
I'm confused by the ritual. I can't visualize it. So I would like to hear if someone has like ideas about it. I would like to hear those ideas, but I can't contribute. I don't know.
He's learning about how to exist in zero gravity with these skulls being the planets.
Right.
I don't understand what's confusing about that. Don't you guys do that?
Oh, that's what you're going to do in the theater later.
Exactly. That's what I'm planning to do next.
You do it every day.
All you want.
Got to be prepared.
Once you get enough coffee in you know.
Exactly. I'm ready to be called upon to save existence. I guess that we can't say as much for the rest of you.
Count me out.
I've been called
You know-
upon to destroy
you know-
existence.
Brian, or Connor, it only takes one.
That's right. That's true. Yeah, but for each of us, that one is us, bringing us
You're
back
right.
to the autism we were talking about. And quantum immortality. This discussion really is just so self-referential and woven together so tightly. This is the tightest episode yet.
Kirby,
Sure.
what do you want to say about the ritual? You're the one who demands we pay attention.
No.
No,
I don't know.
I want to hear.
No, I don't.
Jen,
have
I
any
want to hear what you have to
particular-
say about this.
I don't have any particular thing to say about it. I just wanted to make sure that if anyone did, that we didn't skip it.
I swear
Can
to
I
God,
just
we
get a-
talked about this last time.
No, can I just get a baseline description? So he says he puts on these like flowing robes and then just goes into like 0G. There's skulls in there too, and they're just
They represent the planet.
floating around, and it's spiritual. Like, okay, is that it?
I don't think it's so spiritual.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it's just
Scientific,
it's
like-
a thing.
The first sentence says a religious ceremony.
Yeah, but religion's not spiritual.
All right, well, religious.
It is okay.
I
one,
mean, the new sun thing, the whole new sun thing is like it has taken on the air of a religion But in the
Right.
end, it is like you're vying for like the salvation of humanity, but then also it's a pretty like technical thing that has to happen where you get a new actual star or whatever. Like
You go and
There's
apply
both.
for a white fountain.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like graduation from NASA. Like you've gone through this space training and we're going to now make a little ceremony about it, which it's not really religious. It's really a bunch of engineers, but we feel like we have to do something symbolic to represent that we understand this now.
Okay, wait, and this helps me ground it. So this is happening pretty much before Earth of the New Sun. This like little snippet here is just like
Well,
Right.
before.
he says it in the first sentence. He says
Yeah.
this being
I'm psyched and prepared.
Yeah. Like, have you seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yeah.
You know, where Richard Dreyfuss, like, he snuck up the mountain and then they just like quick go and put him in an orange jumpsuit.
I mean, I don't remember, but is that?
Oh yeah, they put him in an orange jumpsuit and they're just asking him questions like, "Do you have any allergies?" Like, I feel like that bit
Okay.
is what's happening here to
Just like-
Severian.
Well, it also
Preparing.
does say that they used to do it out in space somewhere. Like
Yeah.
it says
Yeah.
it says it is no longer possible for us to carry out the ceremony as once we did, wrapped in the shining belt of the galaxy, but to
Right.
achieve the effect as nearly as possible, they made this like 0G chamber.
Yeah.
So
Just
ostensibly, like when they still had the ability to do space travel, they would do like this whole training situation ritual in
Hey,
space.
guys.
But he's not traveling. He's traveling through space, but also interdimensionally or whatever.
Right. I guess the space travel that occurs in Earth is not like, but there's only one ship, right? So
Well, it's interdimensional travel.
yeah, it's not necessarily, it doesn't work this same way as they might have been doing. Oh, a kitty.
Airboat.
Oh,
Oh.
Intrigue.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, do you have ice cream? Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I should get some.
I've eaten all the ice cream.
Mm.
Well,
I had black walnut.
Ooh.
ooh.
Yeah, it tastes like gorgonzola.
You guys, my neighbor, like, when the quarantine hadn't even like fully set, when it was like everyone was just starting to do it, my neighbor was like, "I just ordered a case of ice cream," and he like brought us a pint.
That's
Wow.
great.
Nice.
That's a good neighbor.
In
That
this
is a-
ritual thing that I thought was significant is that there's a bunch of 7 stuff, the heptarchs, and then this is like the 7th and highest level of the ascension.
Yeah.
That seems significant that they have a 7-fold thread in their religion here,
Yeah.
especially leading into. Are there 7 days of the week on the in the long sun, or is there 8?
No, there's 7.
There's 7, yeah. So this is
Yeah,
like a little echo towards what's about to the importance of the 7 in long sun.
Sure. I mean, the Zonai. Right? It's astrology.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the 7 heavenly bodies
Right.
that are visible to the naked eye,
Mm-hmm.
that move independent of the fixed stars.
And the 7 hells that mirror them, and yeah.
That seems significant because I don't think in this whole book that WOLFE has really paid a lot of credence to the 7, and I don't recall any other previous part of this book where he was pointing out that it or pointing to that tradition.
Well, I just feel like Severian wasn't plugged into any kind of religious tradition outside of his, like, the secrets of his guild.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely a monotheist because he's just worshiping his own ego. So it's an eternal present for him. It's always now. He doesn't have to go through the 7 days. It's always today.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's always Sunday for Severian because he is the sun.
Oh.
What a dick.
Exactly. He is the primordial lingam.
He's the
So-
dick.
So in the present, he's walking through the jungle with his captors.
Yeah.
And he's lame for the first time now, right?
Yeah, he gets hurt in the war.
Wait,
He's
why
mega
why
light. His,
why does
his
Severian
flesh is
choose-
falling off of the bone?
why does he put this narrative here, right here, and then transition on 350 in back to the jungle? Like, what's that about?
Maybe I don't know. Like he's well in the one it's like the last moment of being it's like you have the last moment of being the earthly autarch, and then you
Yeah.
have the first moment of being the earthly autarch, and they're like right next to each other.
Wait, I have
Yeah.
one more thing to say about the ceremony before we go back to the jungle. May I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's about Burroughs and Tim Leary, who have this theory that we need to get off the planet and live in a microgravitational environment.
Which Burroughs are you talking about?
William S. The Naked Lunch Burroughs.
Yeah.
Is there another one?
The home
Yeah,
that
the-
rabbits live in.
Yeah.
Isn't the guy who wrote the Martian books Burroughs
Edgar
as well?
Rice.
No,
Yeah.
that's Ray Bradbury.
No. The
Edgar
other
Rice
Martian.
Burroughs.
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh.
talking about him. I'm talking about William S.
Right.
Burroughs.
Gotcha.
They have this idea that we have to live in a microgravitational environment to get the next 4 circuits of our brain to kick into gear, because they require us to experience a subjective universe. We cannot experience a subjective universe right now because we are drawn to a common center by the Earth's gravity. When we go into space and exist in microgravitational environment, we're subject, the gravitational field that we're subject to is primarily our own. We can become the center of our own universe. And that kind of is what's going on in this training. Each of us became a sun. The circling ivory skulls were our planets. Like, it's training you to exist in a metaphysical zero gravitational environment where you are the center of the universe. So it's cushioning a psychic blow rather than the physical blow of zero G, I think. That's the last thing I have to say about the ceremony.
Hairbow is stealing the show.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Once it was spotted and knew to get out of there.
She heard her name.
All right.
So-
to
Well,
the jungle.
that's we needed to talk about it a little bit more. That's all I thought.
I swear
Yeah.
to God, we talked about that 4-circuit thing last time. Did we not really talk about that?
I don't remember talking about that, but
I have a perfect memory. I wish I could
All right,
forget
well.
things.
Oh, everybody needs to read the Soldier of the Mist series. It is the negative of the New Sun.
Who wrote that?
Well,
Gene,
Gene Wolfe.
Oh,
that's like
how is it the negative?
It's Gene Wolfe translating a scroll from the past about a person who can't remember anything.
Right.
I bet it's good. I think that it's often considered to be like his second best after this, right?
It's really good.
Yeah, I might check that out at some point.
Yeah.
I know I have it.
Soldier of the Mist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's other 2 of them.
There's 2, and then he wrote a third one in the aughts.
Okay.
So there's like two, which are the first 4 books, and then the third one, which is It's Earth, which I just read, and it's really cool. It takes place in Egypt. Egypt's rules.
You mean Kemet?
Love Egypt. Yeah,
You mean
Kemet.
Kemet.
I do mean Kemet.
Let's just be appropriate here.
Yeah.
So what else happens in this chapter here?
Well, we see. Okay, this is the one scenario in which I am like 99% sure that we actually see Father Inire.
Oh yeah, he mentions at the end of the book that Inire was here.
He is here. He is the guy. Okay, you got an old. First of all, you know that Inire is like in the battle zone, right? They keep saying that. Like that's like consistently referenced that he's like out in the field.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
You've got these 3 savages, a pair, like our guides, our column had 3 savages, a pair of young men who might have been brothers or evil twins, and a much older one, twisted, I thought, by deformities as well as age, who perpetually wore a grotesque mask. Then you have, that's the description. Then you
It's
have,
like a Hyrule.
then you have, the old man at one point slips into the little tent that the Autarch is in.
Yeah.
Severian sees him slip in there.
Where's that?
And then it says some.
Yeah,
This is
where are we looking?
This is at the top of 351.
Yes.
A covered palanquin whose place in the column was considerably more advanced than my own bore the Autarch, whom my leech gave me to understand was still alive. And one night when my guards were chattering amongst themselves and I sat crouched over our little fire, I saw the old guide, his bent figure and the impression of an immense head conferred by his mask were unmistakable, approach this palanquin and slip beneath it. Some time passed before he scuttled away. So, and then right after that, when Severian and the Autarch are talking to each other, the Autarch says that Inire is around. So to me, there's like enough evidence.
And at the end of the book, when he gets Anire's letter, he says that Inire was going to try to rescue the Autarch and failed.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty confident that is like.
Yeah.
That's who that is.
Yeah, it's weird because I didn't think of it at all when we read this chapter, but now that we're rereading it, it's like he's got a monkey head on top of his staff. Like, it seems really obvious.
Inire is associated with monkeys.
Yes, he is.
Right. And also, he says he reminds him of the guy in the jungle garden, which there are like theories that the like savage in the jungle garden is also Inire.
Whoa.
Which Connor doesn't like. I tried to talk to Connor one time about these theories that there's like various characters in the books that are Inire, and he didn't like it at all.
Well, I think I'm warming up to it.
Okay. But my point being
But
that
you're saying
this one, point being that this one I feel like is definitely him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But you're saying Insignoma or whatever is Inire.
I don't know. I'm just saying that some people think that.
Why couldn't it be?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Connor, like, is there like something that's lost in making that character Inire?
Also, this is a conversation we had like at least a year ago. Like this was we had this conversation a while ago.
Yeah, I don't know why I was so upset about that at the time, other than like cognitive dissonance or something.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. I think it's possible, but I think also there's this thing that at least when it's tempting to, when you're reading this, try to make every character some sort of version of one of the central like movers, and I think that an argument can be made for like all of that, but it's also like, does it necessarily do anything for us other than be this kind of like satisfying thing that we can plug in?
There's a fine line between trying to solve the book as a riddle, but also like there's like this theme of forms, of platonic forms, and how everything is a reflection of a higher thing above it. So it makes sense that archetypes would be collected, like some collection of archetypes does kind of make sense. But
Yeah, I kind of like that
I also-
idea of them of these things like
Guys, oh my
conforming
God.
to.
Mindy. Yeah.
I like the thing of this conforming to, like these characters conforming to these archetypes rather than them being literally that guy showing it. I think in some cases it is literally that guy, but I don't think it always has to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I do think it's interesting to see him because he's like one of the like Valeria. He's like one of these kind of like ever present characters who you never really actually see very much.
Yeah.
But also, if you consider that the Autarch is like playing all these different kind of like roles in society, and he's kind of like around, like checking in here, checking in there, like I'm over here. Like the Autarch is in various places, not necessarily as his central role. Then it would make sense to me that Iniri would be doing a similar thing.
Well, ultimately, everyone is the Autarch, which means everyone's Severian because Severian is ultimately the Autarch. The Autarch.
Is there any significance to this Udarunku reference here? Like, does the lexicon talk about that? Or I just Googled it, and it's a mountain in Bolivia.
Wait, what's the word?
351, the last sentence of that paragraph that Jen read to us. They talk about this old man slipping out, and he's referred to as the Udarunku, or someone who can turn into a tiger.
Yeah, it's a
Quechua. It's a Quechua.
It may
Okay.
also be a Borges illusion. Like Borges wrote about tigers a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be putting on a dramatization of the God Script, which is about a guy trapped with a panther.
Hmm.
That's a Borges story.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like an interesting detail for sure. So I think it's natural that Jen and others would try to like read into it, because it's just one of those weird paragraphs that just has popped in there that you're not sure why it was put in there. Like it doesn't, like you're saying, Mark, like what is that? If it's the Autarch, I mean, what do we get out of that? But I mean, if it's not the Autarch, what do we get out of it? Like what?
I mean, I think
Why is it there?
I think another thing about it is just showing that like all like ostensibly the Autarch and Father Inire are like on one side of the battle, and Vodalis is like on the opposite side, and they're all enemies, and there's this like hard duality or whatever. But like in reality, they're all like mixed up together in all the like in the scenario. I mean, because Inire, if we agree that that's Inire, he is like guiding Vodalis. Like they're all just mixed up. Like everyone's just all mixed up together, which I think is an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway.
they're two sides of the same coin. They both need to exist in order for anything to exist. Like the fall has to happen when everything's one thing. When it's just God can't exist because observation is required for existence, right? So the fall has to happen for many things to exist, to be able to observe that one thing exists so that one thing can exist. So the fall is creation, ultimately. And at the end of creation, that's when God exists for the first time. And that's a similar thing here. Like both sides need to exist in order for either side to exist at all.
Well, not only that they both have to exist, but they're like enmeshed in each other.
Right. They have to both they need to fight each other, but in fighting they also need to make sure that each other exists so that they can fight, because the fighting is what is real. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think I've brought up Cat's Cradle before, but that's like a very Cat's Cradle idea too.
Yeah. I've not read Cat's Cradle.
It's good. I think I explained it last time, but that is the idea, is that there's this kind of culture that's built around these opposites that are in league with each other. Oh, Jordan just. Oh.
Mark, you're looking like a cat's cradle right now.
That's right. This Ronnie is always.
Sorry. Looking like a cat's cradle.
Yeah, keep going, freestyle.
No.
The only thing that I had to talk about at the end of this chapter is I thought that what we learn about the Ashaeans here is really interesting, about how like they only ever carry one weapon, if that, and their officers don't bear weapons at all, as if they regarded actual fighting with contempt.
The U.S. Army.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, the Ashaeans are definitely us.
Who?
Really?
Us, Americans. The people that have like given away their soul for technology and have a horribly stratified culture where people on the top control people on the bottom who are kind of like zombies.
Oh, I think.
Well, we also geographically that is correct as well.
It is.
We're
north.
north.
I guess.
Well, it's definitely
because they're the people
north.
north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
North of South America.
I just thought the Ashaeans had taken over, North America.
Yeah, I think that the Ashaeans are Korean communists that took over North America.
In 2021.
That's right.
After the plague had
managed to
after the Americans all die, yeah.
Yeah. Korea did a good job.
From sheer stupidity.
Man, Mardi Gras, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's right.
Uh-oh.
That's the call of
Quimby.
the Rona.
I have to go wash my hands.
Wash my screen.
Yeah. I think we can move on to the next chapter.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, we got
All right.
one down.
The Autarch?
Only took us
Autarch
58
of the
minutes.
Commonwealth.
Yeah, Autarch of the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to think about Autarch, like that it is just autism.
Yeah, it's like
what the Autarch is.
it's like basically a synonym for Spurglord.
Say it again.
It's basically it's a classy synonym for Spurglord.
Oh God.
I've never heard that word before.
It's kind of out of fashion. It was in fashion a little while ago, but it's fallen out.
I don't think it was ever in fashion. I think it was always an offensive thing that Ryan thought was funny.
I enjoy wordplay.
We'll call it that.
Spurglord. You.
But anyways, yeah, no, I think this book is just all a description of autism.
I mean, I feel like Wolfe's writing is a little autistic.
Yeah.
I do. I don't know if it's intentional. that Severian's an Autarch, but I do get that vibe from this book.
Wait, did you just call people with autism an autarch?
No,
Oh, well, okay. That was exciting to me.
You
I
did.
think
Autarchism.
that people that have autism, they are autarchs. Jen disappeared.
I'm just getting water, but I can still hear you.
Since I think I might be on the spectrum personally, undiagnosed. I don't know.
I think all people are.
Yeah, that's the thing about a spectrum. You're somewhere on it.
Right, but I think I'm on there somewhere. Like, I'm not like a fully human. There's like I'm off slightly. I am.
Well, are autarchs more fully human than non-autarchs?
Yeah,
Like if they put their hand in the box, would they pass the gum? Autarchs are more likely to pass the gum jabbar, maybe.
Yeah.
More human than human, as the White Zombie song goes.
That's right.
Oh.
And the thing about like the thing about autism, right, is that it interferes with your ability to like play along with the fake shit in society.
Yeah.
You know,
Right, and you just force your entire sphere of influence to be centered around you.
What do you mean force? Isn't it isn't it like allowing the reflex more than a force?
I'm not going to be able to semantically get through this right now. I'm sorry. I can't. I've spent so many days alone. I don't know how to translate thought to word right now.
Connor's gone full autarch.
Just speak in tongues. Speak in tongues.
The functional definition of autism is like an inability to read and engage with emotions in other humans, right? Like
Right.
that. Okay, yeah.
So your world collapses down into just you.
That I don't know, but that that could be a way of
If
thinking
you're not
about
engaging with other humans, then what's left?
I don't think it's about not engaging, though.
Right,
Sonic.
right. It's not about not engaging. Like, it's about not specifically not connecting with the emotional existence of people.
It's a disconnect between self and other.
Well,
It
and
is,
this book is certainly emotionally disconnected.
That's right. It's obsessive and full of detail and very interesting, but in terms of the emotional lives of the characters, it's like, I don't know, it's weirdly disengaged.
Well, to bring up back to the everyone's on the spectrum thing, the emotional disengagement with the other is like a big facet of our culture right now, in that like everyone has basically a political party that is the other that they won't emotionally engage with, that can take the blame for all the problems. And you know, like it's almost like a standardized aspect of participating in culture with other people right now. There's an other you can't emotionally access. If you do, you are suspected of being a traitor to your own group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's always been that way, though, Ryan. I just think we're becoming more aware of it thanks to like online media, and like we're becoming aware of like bubbleism more.
It's like a 24/7 pursuit.
I wouldn't say it's always been that way, but in recent history, it definitely
Yeah.
has.
Psychology has always been that way, but we had like an etiquette that allowed us to not go there. You know, like it was impolite to talk about who you were voting for. It was impolite to even ask someone who they voted for. Now,
I mean, still technically
it's impolite to not fucking tell me who you voted for. You know, like
so I know
we
whether
had
you're human or not.
Here we didn't get into this fight, and we lost them, and now we're having it.
And we're having it like because of social media. We're having it 24 hours a day, or you know whatever the percentage of that you're awake, which is different.
All rules of decorum have fallen by the wayside because we're talking to each other every time we take a shit.
it's I think we've talked about this before, but it's increasing the amount of talking, and we're also getting like a more meta view of talking. Like when you get a view of like like a right wing meme, and it like beguiles you. It's like, how is this funny or interesting to someone? But you're kind of peering through this little peephole into another bubble where the thoughts work differently than yours, which social media is giving us access to.
But there's
Like,
also FOMO comes into play where like, oh, they're saying stuff. I have to be saying stuff too, or else they're going to be saying more than me. And like, I owe it to what I have to say to get it out there so it can compete with what they have to say. So, and then it becomes less what you have to say and just that you're saying something.
yeah, I agree with that.
And that's memes.
Oh, that goes along with the I don't know who needs to hear this, but
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to hear it. You just need to say something.
yeah, totally.
Because pics or it didn't happen. If you're quiet, you don't exist anymore.
Well, it's less about what's being said and also signaling your alliances and your stances. So that way you can supposedly, I guess, solidify your alliances, or
and I think there's a lot of people feel that the only thing that they can like really contribute is an intensity of feeling. They can't add new ideas there because the ideas are sufficient. We know everything we need to know, and we can make judgments based on everything we know. So the only thing that you can personally like uniquely contribute is a level of feeling that exceeds those around you. Like I want to, you guys, I want to kill.
There are also, as someone who does not like do social media, like as someone who isn't on Twitter or whatever the fuck, like I will also say to that point that like maybe all the information is available, but the vast majority of the information is skewed in one way or another. Like there are scenarios in which it seems valid to be like relating information that's not as like basically anything on the left at all is like totally absent from the public discourse unless like people on Twitter are talking about it or whatever.
Oh, they are.
Because
it's not on the news because the corporate media controls us on TV.
But it's an error to think of Twitter as...
there are like multiple qualities to it, is all I'm saying. If you're trying to like put like, I guess what I'm thinking about personally, my personal experience is like me trying to talk to my like kind of shitty lib family, and like there are like things that I try to like get them to think about that I'm legitimately just trying to like introduce an idea into their thought stream that I feel like they actually literally are not exposed to in their normal lives because they just read the fucking New York Times or whatever.
Right.
I guess I was speaking more about the psychology of an individual person in this landscape, is that like everyone needs to be in control, and like there's no place in the current setup for someone who doesn't think they have all the information. Like someone who's not ready to make a judgment you can't exist. There's something wrong with you, You're expected to be in a position in which you don't need any more information, and you can make a final judgment on who's good and what's good and etc.
Well, I think that's a very like who aren't as like online or whatever, who are just a lot more kind of like resigned to like just whatever.
But
like
how much power do those people have in our world right now?
Make a final judgment on.
Soon they'll all be dead.
Yeah.
Well, and also like that conversation isn't what's governing what's going on, I feel like.
Well, Jen, I kind of feel like what you're talking about is kind of what I was trying to talk about like a second ago. Like you're bumping up when you talk to your family to a bubble, like the difficulty you're having is that, you're in two different information spheres and there's not like a connection there. And that's normal. And Twitter gives us the illusion that we're in a greater information sphere than we think we are, because the friends that we surround ourselves in social media have similar opinions oftentimes. Mm-hmm. And this works, in the real world social circles too. Um, but yeah, breaking through those spheres, those circles of information, is very difficult, and it's wrong to assume that when you're on Twitter that you're interacting with the opinions of the world, because there's whole other groups of different opinions and thoughts that you don't have access to, that you aren't seeing. That's just the algorithm doesn't want you to see that.
Well, only 20% of people are on Twitter.
Right. Well, yeah, and
Or
plus
social media in general, perhaps.
of humans is probably
figure
much
is
less
exactly.
than 20. Probably much less than 20 of all human beings.
I don't remember what the numbers are, but like the Facebook has like a kind of remarkably high percentage of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Facebook
For
has
developing
really-
countries, Facebook is the whole internet.
Right. I mean, it's a major way that, it's a major point of access for a lot of people. So I don't know.
Man,
Yep.
Zuckerberg, what is going on? Like, how can you have like $55 billion and most of the world on your website and be so boring? Like, I would like.
Bill Gates.
I bet he's got a really wild private life.
human beings. Like these people are totally evil, but it behooves them to just seem like boring nerds who are just like trying to do the best thing or whatever.
I think they have no taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're possessed by a desire for power and money that like excludes other aspects of a personality.
There's no aesthetic component of that level of megalomaniacism or whatever.
Yeah, they're too efficient to have interesting qualities. Like they cut those things out because those are not necessarily useful towards the acquisition of more.
Yeah.
I think that describes Bezos more than Zuckerberg, in my opinion. I think Zuckerberg is just like some tech dude who got like super lucky and isn't remarkably interesting or,
It's not even that
insightful.
smart. It seems like
He's not a genius or anything. He got lucky.
Bezos' like initial round of post breakup pictures were pretty amazing.
Wait,
Like-
but I feel like that
That's
what you
Lex
just described, I literally don't know which one you're describing because to me it describes all three of those people that we were just talking about easily.
I feel like Bezos is more of a Lex Luthor, in my opinion. He's more of a wealth-driven egomaniac.
With a shaved head.
he does look like Lex Luthor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my opinion. I feel like Zuckerberg is like some watery Bill Gates kind of guy.
Bill Gates is like one of the most evil fucks on the planet, though.
He's
Like, let's
manifested
be real.
into that.
Oh, we
for
already
sure.
had this. We already all agreed at an
Yeah.
old meeting. We already all agreed, fuck Bill Gates, right?
Yeah,
No, fuck
Bill
Bill
Gates and Jay-Z are the Illuminati right now.
How did Jay-Z get mixed up in this?
He's
Oh, come on.
he's-
He's declaring it. He told us.
I think Jay-Z's actually not rich enough to be included.
He's got $1 billion now.
That's
He's got
not-
social capital.
But
Right.
also, I mean,
That's just $1 billion that he's declaring.
when he and Beyonce are like they're like the PR office for the Illuminati.
Also,
1%.
Jay-Z only gets in because of Beyonce.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he owns her now. Matthew Knowles passed the leash.
Oh God.
Yeah.
All
Like,
right.
you're not familiar with the fucking story of Beyonce's dad, and he's a
No, it's yes. It's just doesn't mean it's not cringeworthy.
yeah. He should cringe.
We're way off.
Oh man. Okay.
No,
so-
no. We're on. Now we just gotta keep going.
We're on. This is on brand.
I mean, it reminds me a lot of Severian's attitude towards women.
Whose?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Severian becomes the Autarch proper in this chapter.
Yeah.
That happens.
So it's like I It's not Alzabo, but it's something
Yeah, something
more
else.
more high tech. It's more refined.
Got
What do they
more
call it?
people
The
in it.
water of life? Is that what it is in Dune?
Yeah.
It's
He
the
says there's
MDM.
hundreds.
Which he also calls it the abomination in here. The Autarch refers to it as the abomination.
He
Yeah.
says there's hundreds of personalities here, but I thought there were like millions of personalities.
Yeah, I think it's hundreds just as in a countless number.
But and also like there are some that dominate over others, right?
Yeah.
Like they're
Like
not
the Baron
all in,
Harkonnen.
they're not all in like a blank field of
Right. Like the Autarch is going to be the most dominant, right?
yeah.
Hopefully.
Right. Which is I guess like the most recent and possibly the most relevant experience.
I feel like the Autarch's dying words here, like over that page 356, are like really interesting to like the world of this book. Like especially when they're talking about how like Severian saying like, you know, I hated you my whole life and I would have like happily killed you at any point. But now that we're here, like so you know, I don't want now I'm sad to see you go basically. And then what does Severian say? He's like, you stood for so much it was wrong, I hated you. And then Autarch's like, you were right to hate me. And then that paragraph there where he describes why he's right to hate him is really interesting. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because all else is worse. Until the new sun comes, we have but a choice of evils. All have been tried and all have failed. Goods in common, the rule, the people, everything. You wish for progress, the Ashayans have it. You know that part, which I think Ryan you were referencing earlier. Like, like I feel like this goes back to Wolfe's like love of monarchy and is kind of like this description of it. Like this is the best system that can exist. It's like
It's
because
interestingly
if you go towards communism, you know you're going down a path of corrupting humanity.
it's interestingly like kind of some right-wing people's feeling of like when you talk about communism, you're talking about Stalin killing people
Yeah,
or Pol Pot.
like he actually says we hold humankind stationary in barbarism. Like that's like intentionally their governmental style,
Yeah.
like not progressing specifically. And
Well,
I feel like that's
progress
conservatism,
too
right?
much, you get to the end.
Sorry?
If you progress too much, you get to the end.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that part of the idea of conservatism? Is like conservatism is immortality because it's cyclic. You keep repeating the same moment over and over again, and that is also outside of time. If your progress, if you're inside of time, subject to entropy, and eventually you will end. And that is departing from humanity and becoming a godless communist.
That could be like a subconscious aspect of conservatism.
I think so.
Yeah.
From our perspective, isn't the government of the Native Americans sort of holding people in barbarism too, because they weren't trying to expand and grow with the same like voracious mentality that we have, and so we look at them and say, well, what were they? They weren't really doing anything. They were just hanging out, you know. Like I feel like our perspective of them is very similar to being held in barbarism, and yet their governments were so much more egalitarian, and their way of life was sustainable for the most part.
Well,
yeah,
I
it was
think that
really
Nirvana
anarcho-socialism.
is conservative. Nirvana is getting rid of desire. Desire is what drives progress. So getting rid of desire makes it so progress isn't necessary. So Nirvana is conservative.
I don't know.
Vote for Chris Novoselic for president.
What was that, Ryan?
Vote for Chris Novoselic for president.
He was in the Green Party, right?
He ran for local government up in Washington.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
He's
The
really
Green
into
Party.
ranked choice voting, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
God, anything.
That's
right
like
now.
his project, right? He's always pushing that.
Yeah, I mean, because he's thinking ahead about third parties. And we need to get a third party. How do you get him in there? Well, let's change this mechanism. Cool. Seems like a cool dude.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a good ranked choice voting is legitimately like more democratic than whatever the fuck we do.
Yeah.
It's clear this year has really pulled the mask off that what we do is just a show. Then behind the scenes, a person is selected that maybe gets to be president.
Yep.
I mean, it's hilarious because it's like been shown so many times. Like, I feel like the 2000 election is like the reason that I never wanted to vote as a young adult. Like, it's like, why the fuck even do? It's literally just like, why do it? Like, we literally did not elect this fucker, you know?
Yeah.
And there's arguments that also happened in 2004. It definitely happened, you know, definitely is happening now.
Oh, yeah.
You guys looked at like black box voting or whatever? It's just fucking insane. They're just like, they have like, when they went to like recount votes, there were like decimal points.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like there's no 0.8 of a vote. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Well, that was Larry, and you know Larry, he doesn't pay attention to the news. He picks at random, so we don't give him a full one.
They just round the shit.
They weren't sure about some of the people kind of filled in a little bit of one circle and a little bit of the other.
Well, secretly, some of us are only worth 3/5 of a vote still.
That's for sure true.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, Aji is almost back.
And the Green Man.
Yeah, the Green Man part.
I do think if you could have like the leadership all have to have all the personalities of the rest of the Commonwealth or whatever in their own minds, that would be also closer to democracy than what we have now by a long shot.
If we just had one dictator who was supremely empathic to everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I think is what every dictator claims.
Right.
No, but I want the abomination up in there. We need
They got to take that shit.
Yeah. I want Howard Taft in the back of the guy's mind being like, oh,
that is an actual scene from Children of Dune.
With Taft.
Well, with Agamemnon.
Ooh.
Because they're the House Atreides, which is the House of Atreus. So Agamemnon at some point comes up in Ali's head and is like, I demand audience!
Stupid Agamemnon.
What a pest.
What a pest.
Well, he loses out to the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen.
He
A
does.
cool guy if there ever was one.
The next chapter is pretty good.
Cool.
Which one? The Corridors of Time?
Yeah.
Love the corridors.
Oh, and this is the
Love
Aquasters.
the corridors.
So, I guess we can't. When we get to the end of Earth, we got to talk about the relationship between the Corridors of Time and the Brook Madrigal, because they're kind of the same thing, or are they at right angles to each other?
Who's Brook Madrigal?
It's what's Brook Madrigal, right? It's
All right, I'm gonna see what it says in the lexicon.
Yeah, look it up in the Lex.
Lexing up.
Or as Ed Schrader used to say, look it up in the dick.
Oh, well, so the Corridors of Time. Okay, so it says the Brook Madrigal is a stream, quote, stream that flows from Yesod to Bria as water flows down a hill and as energy seeks a lower state. So that it's like an interdimensional stream.
Okay.
But the Corridors of Time are not interdimensional.
I mean, unless you consider the past a different dimension than the future.
But it's like how you were talking about but it's like how you were talking earlier about there being different kinds of interdimensionality or different kinds of alternate universes or whatever.
Totally.
There's kind of like these ones and these ones.
Right.
And then,
I think so. In that sense, I think that what you were saying about them running perpendicularly is an interesting way to think about it.
Yeah.
Like the corridors of time are like, it's like different time streams, but in the same dimension though.
Yeah.
Right.
Because then when you go to Yesod, you get all of that.
In Bria, right?
Right,
yeah.
right, yeah.
And then the Brook Madrigal is going from Yesod to Bria.
Right. It's going down the tree.
Right. Yeah. The other thing, the end part, the end part of this entry says, in Kabbalistic writings, reference is made to the 4 rivers, each running from the Godhead of Ein Sof to one of the 4 created worlds.
Right.
So can
these rivers are not considered among the paths that crisscross the Tree of Life, connecting the Sephirot to each other. Rather, the rivers are like direct lines to God or expressways. 2 of them are associated with rivers in the physical world. I'm really annoyed that doesn't elaborate on that. But do you know which two?
It's
the Nile and the Amazon or something? What?
Tigris and Euphrates.
Oh,
I thought there was, because I thought it was Tigris, Euphrates, Nile, and Ganges is what we think the 4 rivers are.
this says only 2 of them are associated, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
We got to look up which rivers flow out of the Garden of Eden. Because there are 2 fake ones and 2 real ones, whichever the 2 real ones are.
Cuomo.
Mississippi.
One of them's Governor Cuomo.
No, one of them's Rivers Cuomo.
My mom's so in love with Governor Cuomo right now. She wrote him a letter to say what a good job she thinks that he's doing.
Dude, he is getting he is really fucking high rolling on this shit, I gotta say. It's like how Trump is really good for Nancy Pelosi's brand. Like, this fucking everyone loving Cuomo is some bullshit. You know, he slipped into this, like, bill that they're trying to pass. He's trying to, like, undo all of the bail reform that they just did.
He swears that he doesn't want to be president.
What a fucking dick! Bad guy, still bad, always been bad, still bad.
Yeah.
Just because he's better than Trump does not make him good.
I heard that
Like,
they're going to try to
fuck
get
that guy.
Biden the nomination so that they can then declare him unfit to be president and slip Cuomo in.
Oh,
But Cuomo swears he doesn't want to be president.
Well, that is. I mean, I have heard. I think that's a really legitimate theory that their ultimate plan is to. I mean, I think there is a legitimate theory that their ultimate plan is to get him the nomination, declare him unfit, and have his VP be the president. But he hasn't picked a VP yet, and he's not going to pick Cuomo.
It's gonna be Hillary.
That it's going to be a woman
Dude,
of
it
color.
really fucking might be Hillary, though.
Ready
Like,
for
it's
Hillary.
I hope so. I
That will
hope
be a
so
woman
bad.
of color.
I think.
Hillary
I mean,
in blackface.
I have been predicting personally that he's gonna pick Kamala Harris because it just seems the most like on brand for him.
Yeah.
No,
But
who's the lady from Georgia?
Stacey Abrams.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I
but
think it's gonna be.
I don't think that.
She's
I don't
progressive.
think that the Democrats think that she could beat Trump. Like, I think that the Democrats still ultimately want like a safe bet.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I think I think Stacey Abrams is too far out for them, even though she's not like that far left or anything.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think that because it's obviously not Joe Biden personally that's gonna pick whoever the fuck that person is. Right.
He's the least involved in his campaign.
Exactly.
He seems
He's the opposite of Severian.
Flabbergasted by everything that happens. He's just like
Severian's head is full of information and personalities. Biden, there's nothing there. He's just literally just
Well, I think that there's stuff there, and
body.
there's too much there, and that's why his brain locks up every once in a while. He's overwhelmed by what he knows.
He needs to smell some young girl's hair in order to clear the fog.
Yeah, he does.
Brutal.
It is terrible.
And
Anyway, corridors of time.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could run to the corridors of time right now to get away from this election.
Stop.
Wow.
Unless Hillary
well, so-
runs, which case I can't wait.
Bring it on.
I'm with her
Oh
Definitely.
man, she just can't get enough punishment.
for comedy reasons. Because that'll be the maximum funny thing that could happen at this point.
That would be the best.
So Ajia and the Green Man show up.
Yeah.
And they kill.
Oh man, this Green Man part is awesome.
Yeah, he's like, look, like I owe you one. So I've just been racing up and down the corridors of time trying to find a point where you were in prison. I figured it would happen. So I found it, and here we are, and now I'm helping you out.
Instant karma.
Yeah, and he says he's gonna see him again too. I guess that probably happens in Earth. I haven't read all the way through Earth, but on 360 he's talking to Severian, the Green Man is, and he says, I'm gonna help you out again for real sometime.
Yeah. They happen in both the future and the past.
Oh. In the past too?
Yeah, both of those statements are true.
Cool. But what I'm really excited about is the description of the Green Man going back into the corridors of time. Y'all know that paragraph I'm talking about? That's sick. That's another one of those great WOLFE paragraphs, just like when he's describing like the Hyrule ship above Baldander's tower. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so good. Like,
Yeah.
because so the Green Man is running away in the direction of this like weird direction. I picture him running in place but getting smaller
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I pictured.
and flashing, right? Like there's like lights, and then he finally gets down to like a little pinpoint of and then like bursts into light. It's really cool.
I think that the disappearance of Master Ash would fit into a good description of how this works too.
Yeah.
What was that again? Can you remind me?
The disappearance of Master Ash when they're walking down the hill together.
He's sort of like,
Oh yeah.
and then
And
he's
he
not
kind of
there. And then
doesn't
he-
notice that he isn't there anymore.
Yeah,
But he's still
Yeah.
sort of there for a while.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's all
That was-
descriptions of similar kind of moving at a dimension at right angles to space.
Yeah.
it's cool.
It's just cool. This is good. Good writing.
He's a writer.
And then like out of nowhere the Hyrule ship appears, right? Am I understanding this right? It's just like that transition there between Severian hanging out with Aegea and the Green Man and then the Hyrule showing up is like really throws me for a loop.
It seems like as the Green Man is disappearing down the corridor of time, the ship is emerging out of it, and that's rushing out of it at Severian.
Well, Severian.
Out of everywhere. It appears out of everywhere.
Well, he takes Severian through the corridors of time. Right?
Where? When?
Because Severian winds up on the isn't this where I haven't read it ahead just now, but isn't this where he winds up on the beach?
Oh, I think that's where Malrubius'
Or am I
blaster
am I
drops him
confused?
off.
I think
You might
the
say- yeah,
Hyrule's
the
drop him off.
Sandgarden.
He gets dropped
Yeah,
off.
I think that's in the next chapter.
by the
The
Aquastic.
beach
Yeah.
is the sand garden.
I know.
Oh, okay.
But Mark, you're saying the ship pops in at this exact moment. I guess planned. They're probably waiting for this exact moment when the Green Man leaves to show up.
It might be. I mean, they're pretty locked into whatever is going on with Severian.
Yeah.
So it might be like, all right, now we can show up. He's the Autarch now.
Waiting is an interesting idea.
Right. I guess it's not really waiting.
If you have access to all points in time, it's just kind of
Right.
like
You just know.
You go there.
choose.
Yeah.
So they just
And then-
step from the previous moment to this one. And they have to do it through the corridor of time because they're going Merlin style backwards through time.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's really cool when they're like explaining to him like the whole actor metaphor, the whole actor puppeteer metaphor thing, and also like they bring up like the Deus ex machina, or however you say it, and they reference that idea, even though I guess they are kind of that in this story, right? Like they're literally
Right.
these like angels popping down and being like, "We got it, we're good."
Yeah.
Like they're like, only poor playwrights do it, but it's better to do this than have a bad ending.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, they say that they're the we're almost what you think of us, powers from above the stage, only not quite deity. You're an actor, I believe.
Yeah, the Hierodulls are still pretty, like, compared to like their masters, they're not like exactly gods.
Well, and these
They're-
aren't hierojewels, right? They're like
They are.
Hierogrammates?
Oh no, I guess you're right. They're like they're like projections or something.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because is that how you mean? Like, because in the next chapter they talk about like the machine kind of like rooting around his brain and finding like good like they're like, yeah, kind of these like projection.
I read something recently about these creatures, eidolons. So eidolons are equesters, which are equester means being of water.
Right.
Eidolon in mythology is the child of Nephila, the cloud goddess, who is a dummy of Hera that's made out of clouds.
Cool.
So these are 3D projections onto mist.
Oh, like what's in Baldander's castle.
Right. But that's what Master Malrubius the memory is.
Right. Equesters, yeah.
He touches him in this.
What?
Yeah.
Part. He touches him in this part.
Must be manipulating the density of the mist.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought that was a cool mythological connection that eidolons are the children of cloud because they're beings that are made out of cloud, projected onto cloud.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's all I had to say about that.
Next chapter. Oh,
Right.
I'm just
I
trying
don't
to
know.
see.
I guess I'm unclear on what these are though. Like, because yeah, later they call themselves these equesters, and they're like projections of imagination or something. I guess I'm a little confused. I don't know.
I'm also confused. However, here are some thoughts I have. So these are beings that are agents of Yesod, a place called Yesod, right? And Yesod is one Sephiroth up from Malkuth, right? It's the moon, it's dreams. Okay?
Yeah.
So what these creatures are, something scans around in your brain, finds your dreams, and then creates a holographic projection of your dream to interact with, which for Severian, one of his most potent dreams is Malrubius, who clearly imprinted on him as a small child, as well as his pet dog that he loves.
wait a second. I think that I like what you're saying, but I would make
These
a
are his most
distinction.
potent dreams. So when the beings from the next universe up want to talk to him, they talk to him through these, his most potent dreams, because it is the universe of Yesod.
I think you can make a distinction here where they're not talking through his dreams, they're talking through his memories. So they are communicating with dreams.
Cool.
Like where you're, like every dream is exactly one of these communications, because they go into your memory. In order to tell you something, they have to use the vocabulary that's in your head.
Ryan, are you saying something?
Oh, can you not hear me?
Ryan, are you talking?
Yeah.
I can't hear you, Ryan.
Oh yeah, Ryan, your mic.
How did my mic get turned off?
Nope.
Hello?
Yeah, it
now?
says your mic's off.
It says you're muted.
I didn't mute me. I just
Is he talking shit?
We can't hear you.
How did that happen? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you're still muted.
How about now? Still nothing?
What if you try unplugging your mic and plugging it back in or something?
I'm getting Mike. Hello? Huh.
What happened? What did you do?
I went and got more coffee.
I mean, can't hear you.
Revert back to a previous state.
Corridors of time. Corridors of time.
Yeah. Go back to 10 minutes ago when everything worked. Hey, there he is.
There we go.
Wait, how about now, though?
Yeah,
You're talking, man.
Yeah.
You can hear me right now, the thing I'm saying right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can hear me right now, the thing I'm saying right now.
Yeah. No, I was saying that I think, Connor, you were saying that the Equasters use your dreams. I think the Equasters they don't use your dreams like they use your memories in the same way that a dream does.
Right. Like so, but the step up, the being that's a step up of existence from the Equasters use the dreams to create the Equasters, which are the dreams.
I would say they use the memories to create the Equasters, which are the dreams.
Okay, I'm not making a differentiation between memory and dream.
I am.
Right. You're just talking about thought, cerebral matter.
I'm saying that, like,
no. Okay, I do think that there's a difference between thought and dream.
Right.
Like so these creatures are moving through Bria, which is the emotional world. I think that memory and dream exist more as emotion than as thought, which are from Yetzirah.
I would say that the dream is the result of something from Yesod communicating with something in Bria. That's what a dream is that link creates a dream. Dreams don't exist here on their own.
Sure, I'll agree with this.
Good.
Very
then we
good.
can continue.
Is
That's really
that
nice.
is that link the Brook Mandelbrot or whatever?
Oh man, I like.
I would
that.
say it's a little boat on the dream is a little boat on the Brook Mandelbrot, maybe.
And then consciousness would be the little man in the boat.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very cute. The little man.
I don't know why, but in my head, this is all claymation.
It all makes more sense that way.
Are all your thoughts aren't in claymation, Ryan?
They're gonna be now.
Switching over.
Yeah.
So do we go to the sand garden now?
Yeah, Sand Garden.
We're racing through now.
Kitten.
Who is the new son? A man?
A miserable little pile of secrets.
Well, what do we want to say about the Sand Garden, y'all?
I'm refamiliarizing myself with its content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read all of this like 4 months ago, so I'm like,
Yeah.
Same.
We all didn't do our homework.
I read some last night, but I didn't go back this far. Okay, so this is him talking to Malrubius, and then Malrubius taking off.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's that conversation about what does humanity need more, justice and peace, or a new sun? And Severian answers that the new sun, they need more.
Yeah, and this sort of goes back to that conversation about with the Autarch about how we we hold people in barbarism, and you have to pick between various evils.
Yeah.
You need, and I don't know, it's hard not to relate that to our situation right now, is that we need a completely new system more than we need a reformation of this system that we have.
we don't need something that symbolizes an idea. We need the thing itself.
Yeah, we don't need what we have, but with more justice in it. We need a new fucking thing that isn't so unjust.
Rain symbolizes mercy
Yeah,
and sunlight,
I was about to
charity,
read that,
but
too.
rain and sunlight are better than mercy and charity. Otherwise, they would degrade the things they symbolize.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh,
I was about to read that too. It's so good.
yeah,
I'm curious how the Alzabo soup guys have. Or aren't they trying to talk about this without reference to symbolism?
Yeah.
So I wonder how they.
the end of this book really comes to a fine point about like Platonic ideals and symbol. Like he gets so explicit more and more as we get to the end of this thing about how important symbols are and how they're everything.
I mean, I think, that's the quest of the book, I think. Like stated from the beginning when he's looking at that coin.
Right. It starts out with it, totally.
Yeah, like you don't even need to know about symbols, they control you. Which is kind of the opposite of what he's saying here, is that like physical reality needs to be better than symbols, otherwise the symbols don't work.
Yeah, and then there's that whole little bit in later on about the artist and the peach.
I don't remember that. I do remember that coin is counterfeit.
Yeah, both of the coins are.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is the part with the artist and the peach?
Severian talks about how there's an artist, and to him, and there's a peach in his room, and to him, the curves of the peach might symbolize the curves of a woman.
Oh, right.
And then a woman can walk in the room and be painted by the artist and have no idea that the peach and her curves are related. And yet the painting is entirely informed by the artist's obsession with her curves. It's like another attempt, I feel like, to talk about the relationship between people and symbols and how symbols are doing their work regardless of whether or not you know about them. And I guess he kind of, at that point, expands it out a little bit into saying that, like, things in the universe that we don't think are related might be completely related, from a point of view of someone who makes a universe. And that, I guess, he kind of introduces the idea of the increate having obsessions.
Right. The increate kind of is obsession to a degree. So symbols can affect you even if you don't know about them, because symbols are a thing that people agree. They are an agreement between people, right?
Yeah.
Like several people agree this means this, and therefore that is that.
Yeah, that's where symbols
get their power. In that group of people, even if you don't know about that agreement affects you.
Yeah.
Oh,
which is why, like, the Nazis get the swastika, even though there's a good swastika. Like, the overwhelming agreement is that the Nazis get the swastika, so they do. And now they've gotten the OK symbol too.
Right. We talked about that last time, I think, or recently.
Does that mean they also get this?
The Nazis?
I think
Yeah.
that the insertion of the finger deflowers the OK symbol enough that it's no longer the Nazi thing, which is about purity.
Phew. Good, because I need this.
Well, I'm happy to give it back to you.
Also, their thing has the fingers like up, right?
Yeah, I feel-
it's specifically.
But this looks too violent. You know, I like to keep the fingers out.
Yeah, but you got loose fingers. I'm saying like their thing is.
They got to be fully extended. Ugh, so creepy.
It is
Nazis
creepy.
are creepy.
They are.
They
always-
are creepy.
Oh, there was a phrase in another book that I found that I feel like is relevant here that I feel like all of us have heard, but I hadn't heard in a long time, is when someone's pointing at the moon and you stare at the tip of their finger.
Right. Like in Amelie, right?
Oh, did they say that in Amelie?
Yeah, right? Am I thinking of the right thing?
I don't remember.
No idea what you're talking about.
We should all watch Amelie as homework.
Liz is yelling from the other room that it's a Zen saying.
It's good.
It's a Zen saying in Amelie.
Is Amelie
It's French-
an anomaly?
French Zen.
Amelie.
Audrey Tautou is the Buddha.
Liz says Buddhists would not argue with that.
Okay.
Do Buddhists argue?
Yes.
They wouldn't argue with anything. We lose Jordan.
Jordan's tucking us into
George
the
Mark.
net.
We lost Mark.
I can't. Oh, hi, Mark.
Do you see,
Oh, hi, Mark.
do you see this lava lamp? It's very fun.
Yeah,
Can you
I've been
is it
looking
on?
at it. I'm also looking at your cool sphere behind it.
Yeah, that's a very funny essential oil diffuser.
Oh yeah, that
Oh.
thing's awesome.
No, I took myself off camera briefly because I was looking at my phone.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
I was pointing at the moon and you were looking at your phone.
The tip of my finger.
Yeah, you. Oh,
Uh,
wow. It all comes full circle.
Everything does.
So the sand garden.
The sand garden.
The
So
same.
sandy, right?
Yeah.
so. Yeah. So he just he
So they
gets
kind of
kind of the
explain.
He finds the claw.
finds a
Wait,
claw.
here's a question that I legitimately just can't. My memory, I can't remember. When he goes to the sand garden, when he's in the botanical garden, does he see the ocean then?
No.
He doesn't, right? I don't remember it being a beach when he goes into it the first time, but he probably just didn't.
The sand garden's the
Yeah.
one he doesn't stay for long, right? Like,
But he does stay for long.
Right.
right.
He, relative to him, he stays for a moment, but he stays for hours relative to everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
yeah,
don't-
I just didn't
I don't remember an
remember.
ocean. That it'd be good to review. Maybe there's like a brief description of an ocean or something.
I don't think there is though. I think
Yeah,
it's just
probably not.
sandy.
But he doesn't go that far in. I think that he's way farther in now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
Like
he kind
the
of just
desert that leads up to the ocean because it is exploring all of the different kind of sand plants.
So wait, when he's on the ship, like where's the ship going? Is it just taking him to the beach,
Which
or is it going to space?
it's got to be taking him to a different way to be outside of time, right? Because it's taking him from the halls of time, which is outside of time, to the botanical gardens, which is outside of time in a different way.
It's not taken. He's not in the botanical gardens though when he lands. When he gets off the ship, he's just
What?
reminded of it.
Well, the sand garden, I mean, the sand garden and the place where he is now are the same place. Like, the botanical gardens is a portal, right?
Well,
Sort of.
Yeah,
okay.
but it didn't.
What?
It's sort of like a matrix, I guess. Like it seems like if you enter the sand garden from the botanical garden, then you sort of have access to all of the places that are represented by it.
Yeah, it's an idea.
Yeah, and so you're like entering the idea. So all sandy environments participate in the sand garden,
Right.
like sort of as like a like a thought can contain a universe or whatever.
It is the archetypal sandy place.
But it also is the same. Doesn't he see, like, the cart tracks or whatever?
I mean, I think it's one of those things where like it is this, like we're sort of like literalizing the participation in the archetype. Like we're seeing the, like if the sand garden is this like platonic ideal of sand environment, then any real place that exists is participating or is like a representation or an archetype is a representation of the archetype that is like the sand garden in a larger sense.
Is this Patafor?
I think it is.
Cool.
I was thinking about that, and I think it is.
So, like, memory of a sandy place is real in this place. So his memory of the Botanic Gardens will affect this place because in both cases he is in the idea of sandy spots. Is my theory.
I like
Yeah.
It exists deeper in the noosphere.
Good job.
They haven't watched those videos.
But there's also there's also like the crazy time loop thing that's happening where it's like this is the origin of the claw too.
Yeah, I was wondering if that has to do with the ocean. Like the ocean's the beginning of life.
Maybe it is the point that he finds the claw, and later on, it goes back, before him, for whatever reason. But in a linear timeline, it wouldn't make sense to be the origin of the claw here. Right.
Or is like when we're in the idea of sandy time and then sandy place and then an ocean is involved. Now we're at we're now in the idea of beginnings.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it definitely seems like this is like a renewal, like for Severian. Like he absolutely he's gone and spoken with Malrubius and hung out with Triskelly and he's like sent to this beach here. He seems like cleansed in a way, and then he finds the claw. It absolutely seems like he's beginning anew.
He knows things about the world that make the world a new place.
Maybe this last paragraph in the chapter is illustrative. He's saying, "What struck me on the beach, and it struck me indeed, so that I staggered as at a blow, was that if the eternal principle had rested in that curved thorn I'd carried about my neck across so many leagues, And if it now rested in the new thorn, perhaps the same thorn I had only now put there, then it might rest in anything, and in fact probably did rest in everything, in every thorn on every bush, in every drop of water in the sea. The thorn was a sacred claw because all thorns were sacred claws. The sand in my boots was sacred sand because it came from a beach of sacred sand.
Yeah.
So
This is what we were just describing.
yeah, exactly. So it's just this idea of like of participation in this like greater like ideal version of something. And so everything, like all claws are the claw because they participate in clawness, I guess.
Yet sanctification is a pataphoric act where you allow a metaphor to become physical reality.
Yeah.
This is all very William Blake again.
Yeah, man.
And
if it's the same claw, I mean, it's a really interesting idea that at this moment he's assigning significance to the claw because he is as knowledge of the claw from the past.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's really like this is the moment when the claw becomes a sacred item. He's finding it now, and however, you know, in whatever way it makes its way back previously to the conciliators of old.
Well, maybe part of that is that he doesn't invent the sacredness of the claw. He's just acknowledging it, but it's there to be acknowledged because it was always there.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on whether or not this is like the original claw. Like, is he finding the claw right now?
I think that's the idea, is that all claws are the claw.
Because the claw was once found, any claw is the claw.
Yeah.
Yeah, like things
because it's occurring outside of time.
Things don't like spontaneously receive their meaning because of an event that happens. The meaning is there. The event happens because the meaning precedes the event, not the other way around.
Meaning is non-local in time.
Thank goodness.
Amen to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a scary world where it works the other way, and where meaning, like, you know, like an event causes meaning, and then another event makes that meaning evaporate or irrelevant to, or a different perspective makes that meaning not exist. That's a scary place.
That's kind of the world we live in now.
I know, that's why I'm scared all the time.
But it's our fault that we live in that world.
That's true.
We cut ourselves off from meaning.
We refuse to see deeper than the surface.
Well, we just want to be right so bad that we only think about what can be factually proven, and that cuts you off from deeper meaning.
Yeah, and that's a control issue. Everything has to be brought into the domain that we feel we have control over. And right now, that domain is like incredibly small for all of our hubris about thinking we know more than any other human before. We know, I mean, we've talked about this in this group about the basket, that now it's the same size basket. It just has tiny little pieces in it. And that each one of those pieces, if you stacked all those pieces on top of each other, it circumscribes a tiny area that we have control over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh, God, I'm afraid right now. I'm shivering.
Yeah, man.
Get scared.
You guys, I gotta go pee.
No.
Nice.
Sorry.
Take the computer.
The robot overrules. Take the computer. That's gross.
I did think about taking the computer with me when I went to pee.
That's gross.
It would have been gross, and I didn't do it.
One of the most exciting parts of video chats when someone picks up the computer and you like walk with them through you see all the stuff flying by in their house.
I was thinking about taking y'all to make some more coffee.
Do
that.
Yeah, more coffee. I need it.
Go.
Take us down the corridor of time, Connor.
I will. I'm going to take you to a time when it was the kitchen.
A time when you were hungry.
I'm hungry now. Maybe I'll make some toast. Everybody likes toast.
Everyone.
Yep.
Toast is better than bread.
Oh wait, I forgot to bring the speaker part.
So you can't.
Oh wait,
hear
I
us?
can't bring my computer to the kitchen. There's no internet in the kitchen.
I'm gonna
Oh.
pee too.
I'm abandoning this idea.
No.
Goodbye.
Bye.
What if it was in the hallway? What if you kept the computer in the hallway and you yelled?
No.
It's been fun walking around though.
Yeah.
I'm happy that we could all have a little trip.
It's an important part of the quarantine.
That's
You
right.
had coffee.
My coworkers and I have been every morning. We have a meeting, and they've been stretching longer and longer because we don't have anything to do. And
What a paradox.
yeah, but it's just a fun meeting. Like we're just like drinking coffee, and we like playing show and tell. So we're just like, all right, here's like a weird thing I have, and then we'll like tell a story about this thing that's in our house, and then. Or like because we can do it on our phones, we'll be like, all right, we're gonna go on a trip, and like we'll go and like look at something weird in everybody's house. And it's been an interesting way of having some kind of connection with my coworkers. But it's been nice.
That sounds nice.
New institutions arising out of the plague.
Man, love it.
Man.
Gotta say,
Wait, so now we're missing Tim.
One can only hope that that's true.
oh, it's. I mean, we can't come out back into the thing before. I feel like people are not. A significant amount of people will not stand for returning to normalcy.
It's up to us, though. Like, we can let it go back to the way it was before, or we can not.
In this
That's
group,
why
you
I'm
mean?
writing that poetry. That's me not letting it.
Okay. And by us, you mean the 6 people in this group?
No, everybody.
But specifically, these 5 people.
I'm speaking as the Autarch right now.
That would be we, not us.
That's right. Yeah, the Autarch speaks in the royal plural, right?
Because he's the
right.
Commonwealth. Because they are the Commonwealth.
Speaking of which, I really like the first paragraph of this next chapter that we're getting to.
Oh yeah.
And I walked on as a mighty army, for I felt myself in the company of all those who walked in me. I was surrounded by a numerous guard, and I was the guard about the person of the monarch. There were women in my ranks, smiling and grim, and children who ran and laughed, and daring Erebus and Abaya hurled seashells into the sea.
What do you like about that, Mark?
It's just very evocative. I also picture that meaning that sometimes Severian is just like hurling seashells into the sea because he's like accessing that child that is now living within him that isn't his own childhood.
Can I ask a weird question to the group right here? So, you know how at the end of this, in the like afterward, Wolf, like the last thing Wolf writes is that Severian has a hard time differentiating between space and the ocean. Is any of that happening in these sections? And I was like reading with that in mind when I reread this part, and I don't see any evidence that it is. But I mean, if he truly can't differentiate, I mean, there could be some confusion going on here as to where Severian actually is and what's happening. But
symbolically, space and the ocean are tied together.
Yeah, right. Symbolically, yeah. But I mean,
this island Earth.
Yeah. But is Severian just walking along some beach, about to get onto the Guile?
I read it fairly literally, but I don't, because I guess I don't really understand how it could be interpreted as space.
Unless the sky is the ocean. He's throwing seashells into the sky. But and that would mean the seashells weren't really seashells. They were what, like rocks?
Space
flying saucers.
Land shells?
The ship at the High Redeem.
Yeah. That was just it just seemed like this whole part of the book here starts to become somewhat mystical. And I don't know. That was something I was personally reading for, and like I said, I didn't really see any evidence of that, which is basically what you were saying too, Mark. But
Well,
I don't know. Like,
what if he starts out like what Connor's saying? He starts out where the ship takes him to a place that's outside of time.
right.
And he's like in the sand garden, the more kind of like archetypal like thought space or whatever. But then as he's like walking along the like metaphorical seashore or whatever, he is slowly doing the opposite thing of what the Green Man and Master Ash did. And he's like walking out of the corridors of time into physical reality, actual beach. And then he gets onto the boat or whatever.
He's walking from symbol into practical reality. Exactly.
Yeah, it could be.
And that's like what he's doing, the opposite thing of the Green Man.
Yeah.
He's like walking into being or whatever.
Right. It's the reverse of Catholic Mass. Or what have you, ritual in general.
It seems that way. Like, it seems like he's on some kind of holy ground. Like, you know what I mean, like quote unquote, like holy ground. Like, so he's somewhere special in the universe of these books when he finds that claw there and he's walking along this ocean. Like, it seems like a charged area, and
He calls
and
it
he
a sacred beach.
What was that, Mark?
Sorry.
He calls it a sacred beach. He says the sand in Hughes is sacred because it came from a sacred beach.
Yeah.
And he throws his shoes in the ocean
he's
so
like
he would not
he's
walk on
in
holy
like
ground.
he's in a symbolic metaphysical space, and then he's transitioning into, which also like he also, for that matter, is under, as it keeps being like repeatedly pointed out, is under the influence still of this like
Of the
psychedelic basically
drug. Yeah.
So he's
That's
in
true.
kind of like another state. So then it also reminds me of like the kind of like classical entheogen kind of scenario where you're in this like state, and then you have to kind of like slowly transition back into like normal physical world kind of like reality, and during that period you have a period of like transition and assimilation of that information back into your like normal human body in like normal space or whatever.
Jen, is that period normally like a little bit euphoric? That kind of in between transition?
That totally depends on
the drug.
Yeah.
And you.
Yeah.
But so I think like those two things are like it's to me it's intentional that those two things are happening at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, this book is cool.
That's my read on what's happening. Is he starts out in metaphorical space and he ends in physical space, and they're connected to each other or whatever, but it's like he's in this transition, and then by the time he gets to Gaial and like finds the Samru and all of that, he's like, that's actually happening like on physical Earth.
Which is such an amazing way to describe what Deus Ex Machina is.
Yeah.
You know, like we picked you up out of the narrative so that you no longer exist physically, you're just the symbol of you, and then placed you back down into the narrative at another place.
Where pirates are.
Arr! Anyway.
So now it's a pirate story for like 2 chapters.
Yeah, kind of. He finds a sword and he's just like, I'm going to sharpen this. And then he shows off how sharp it is.
Yeah.
The Samur stuff is very anime.
Yeah, it's anime.
Samru, isn't it? No, Saru is Japanese for monkey. Never mind. I withdraw.
I wonder if it says anything about that in the book.
About the Samarin.
Yeah. It's an alternative name for Sinurk, the bird of immortality in Persian myth.
Cool.
Hmm.
So wait. Well, does it describe along a beach, right? And then does he just find the guile flowing down into the ocean?
Yeah, he just like comes across the mouth of the river
Okay.
eventually.
Okay.
In half a day, as he tells it.
Okay.
The beginning
The beginning of the river.
or the end. Well, it just goes back to what Ryan was saying, talking about the ocean being the beginning.
Yeah.
So he finds the beginning of the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beginning and the end.
The beginning and the end.
Right. Terminus est.
Terminus est.
Beginning of the end.
I think it was the Smashing Pumpkins who said the end is the beginning is the end.
Yeah.
And
On the
the
Batman
beginning-
Forever soundtrack.
And Batman Forever.
That's right.
It all makes sense.
Who knew? Who knew that there was so much conceptual resonance in Batman Forever?
Okay, I'm just reading this section of the entry here on Terminus est because I just wanted to like remember what it says as the remember what the
Ben, can you speak up,
book
please?
said. Sorry, I have this in front of my face. I was just reading the Terminus est entry here, and there are a bunch of different readings of what the translation of the name is. This is the line of division. It's translated by Severian as this is the line of division, by Typhon as this is the place of parting, and then it says it could also be read this is the end. Either a message to the condemned or a name denoting the final work of the weaponsmith, or perhaps most intriguingly, this is Terminus, god of boundaries.
That's cool.
There's a
That's
lot
what I
of
agree
gods
with.
of boundaries. Boundaries is a popular thing for gods to be gods of. Like,
I guess-
Hermes is a god of boundaries. Artemis is a god of boundaries. Hera is a god of boundaries. Like, they're all gods of boundaries.
Well, thinking about less about the God thing, but more about the multiverse idea that we were talking about earlier. Thinking about Terminus as being meaning this is the end, but also in other contexts meaning this is just a division between two things or one thing that is now two things. So whatever Severian's timeline is a thing that gets truncated at multiple points, but that doesn't mean that there's not something that comes after that end division. And so we're getting this continual movement through these sort of different segments, I guess.
Do you think the plague is scarier for people that think oblivion is the only possible thing that can happen after death?
Yes.
I feel like I've seen evidence of that lately.
Every time that Ryan says something, it then cuts to Jen, who's not saying anything, and I don't know why. I got to get a plug. I'll be right back. My computer's about to die.
My thing cycles. If no one's talking, it just cycles through the screens.
Yeah.
So I think my screen is probably just after Ryan's screen on Connor's computer.
Mine's working perfectly. And
Shouldn't say it wasn't working.
It's so good when somebody giggles because it will like cut really quickly to them and cut back. I just love that. Thank you, Google.
Yes.
I think it's maybe the best representation we could have of the in-person book club without us all being in the same place.
It's weird when you first start it, but then you get used to it. It was also really funny when you got like the bag of chips or whatever you got, because it would just show you rustling the bag.
I couldn't be surreptitious about it. They're not chips; they're yogurt pretzels.
Oh,
Ooh,
some of those.
classic.
Wait,
It was
they
just
put that on my.
funny.
Hold on.
I thought it was really funny that it kept cutting to you every time you would crinkle it.
This is definitely the best directed episode of WOLFE.
Because there's more than one shot.
Yeah.
No one can hide behind anyone else's body.
Or have
That's
their
true. You
back
get to
the
see
camera.
everyone.
Yeah, nobody's facing away from the camera.
Quiet.
What?
If you're quiet, then the camera doesn't cut to you as much. Right?
Think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody should fart and to get the camera cut to them.
It cut to you when you burped that time. You burped into the mic.
I was burping in order to hear the echo of the burp, and it was very satisfying.
All right, so the
happens
Samru. The Samru. He gets on the Samru.
The Samru's kind of a cool palate cleanser of a chapter. Like, it's like a little bit of a pirate story all of a sudden. He gets on the ship. You can tell Wolf loves describing the ship. I don't know if he does it in this chapter or the next chapter, but there's like a whole page. No, it's the chapter after he talks with Dorcas.
It's once he gets back on, yeah.
Yeah.
He's having such a great time. It's like pretty infectious how happy and psyched Severian is. He's like he's getting a free boat ride just for being him.
Yeah.
And he's like throwing swords in the air and like just chilling all day long. Like the joy here is very palpable.
Yeah. That seemed a little unnecessary. He's just like, cool sword. I'm really good at swords.
He does that a few times.
And he has a lot of disdain for these sailors too. Like, he's like, these guys are trash.
It's like when he does the like Vulcan neck pinch on the guy at the beginning.
Yeah. We're going back to like true Severian here.
And he does it again in a couple chapters when he gets back to the Citadel.
He's still a teenager though. Like
He's still Severian.
Yeah, that's the craziest shit about the end where he's like continually pointing out it hasn't even been a full year.
Yeah.
yeah, he's like
People,
18.
but he's like unrecognizable to everyone that he talks to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He even says it when he's trying to squeeze through the window to get to the Atrium of Time that his bones are a little bigger, but he weighs less, so it works out. Which I guess maybe can happen when you're a teenager. You might have a year in which you do some bone growth.
Well, but he's also been starving and like traveled through eons of time in a moment and whatnot. Like he's been through a lot.
The war. He's
Yeah.
disfigured.
Maybe the bone thing is like metaphorical, you know? Maybe he's like, oh, my bones. I don't know. Probably not.
The growth of his bone.
You know, my bones. You know, it's like your skeleton, you know?
Your
The
bone.
growth of the bone is a metaphor.
The growth of the bone. That's the title of this episode now.
It's becoming
growth
pataphor.
Bone.
The more we talk about it, the more it becomes pataphor for me.
No.
A really extended metaphor.
Oh, extended.
Oh my god. So I guess we should talk about when he sees Dorcas.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Is that this chapter?
Yeah.
No.
That's
Oh, yeah.
immediately
Citadel of the Autarch.
after his sword play, if you will.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha. Extended.
I was trying.
No, you did it. You succeeded.
It worked.
Him seeing Dorcas is really sad and weird and disappointing, in my opinion. I'm disappointed in Severian more so than usual.
He's kind of
Why?
being empathic here. He's kind of recognizing a boundary.
I feel like he should at least say hi, rather than like creepily look at her and then leave. Like, what is Dorcas gonna do? Dorcas is gonna die out here.
Well,
Yeah, but that's what she wants. I mean, he made her miserable.
Yeah, he's recognizing that how badly he is fucked up and how being there will just fuck it up more.
And like her being in his life just made her entire existence about him. Like
That's true.
he doesn't need to. There's like nothing good that comes to her from reintroducing himself.
I mean, I kind of agree with that, but I feel like he might have the resources now to kind of do better for her.
I think he
I
is
don't know.
doing better for her by staying out of it.
Yeah, that's him using his resources.
Yeah. And he recognizes too that she's got a thing going on where she thinks she's a ghost and wants to be a ghost. And like he's not going to shake her out of that. Like that's what she wants.
Yeah.
She wants to be reintegrated into her old self. Like discover her old life.
Yeah. Before he existed.
But she can't. I mean, that's like the saddest. Its part is so sad. Like she's just in these ruins and this decay, finding her recently deceased husband. By the way, did he still live there? Like, why is he there?
Yeah, well, I was wondering why he's there.
He
I think
gave
he
up
still
looking for
lived
her.
there. Yeah.
He still lives in the ruins.
And he
Doesn't make
traveled.
sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense because he's pretty far away.
Maybe he got there through the garden.
Yeah, that's as good an explanation as any.
Well,
Right.
one of those dorks that reads Father Anire into everything thinks that he is Dorcas's the old man that's searching for Dorcas, and therefore Dorcas's husband is Anire.
Oh.
Yeah, that I feel like
I'm
I'm
not
gonna have to
saying-
think a long time about that, man.
I'm not saying that is what I think. I'm just saying that is something that someone on the internet thinks.
That's some Rise of Skywalker bullshit.
Oh, did everyone have the experience that when Jen said the dorks who think Father Anire is everywhere, and then Connor popped up on your screen
Great,
immediately?
thank
He
you.
was looking for his response.
Google Hangouts is picking up on more than we're aware of.
Yeah.
It can-
Wait, do you guys have the same? You might have all the same order of people, and that would just explain why it's like
Mm.
filtering in, like when Ryan, when you said that thing about how whenever you say something and stop talking, it goes to me, because it just like when everyone's quiet, it just kind of like cycles through the screens, and I think they're all in the same order.
I got
And then-
Jen, Jordan, Mark, Ryan, me.
Yeah, that's mine, except mine starts with you, but then it proceeds in the same order.
Yeah, Connor,
Well,
him,
yeah,
and Jordan,
whoever-
Ryan.
Whoever me is always in the far right.
Yeah. But it seems like otherwise it's really interesting that they preserve the same order.
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with the order that we joined.
Oh.
No, it's the order of how good we are.
So I'm last.
Well,
Whoever you are is always last.
whoever are is last, yeah.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Which is cool, which means that for each person, someone different is best.
Yeah.
Wow.
For me, it's Tim.
For me, it's you, Connor.
Yeah,
Well, I
you're
think
you're
actually,
you're mine,
I think it means for everyone who isn't Connor, it's Connor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Mine
But
Connor
for Connor, it's Tim.
Based on what we
I take it back. I don't mean that anymore.
just based on what we just decided, I believe.
Yeah, you're right.
But
Sounds
it
like
doesn't
fun.
matter, Connor, because you can never be first for yourself. The most
Well, thank
important.
God for that. Or thank me, whatever's real.
If he's an Autarch, he can be the first.
Well, he is also all of us.
That's right.
Try to be. I try to hold you all in my heart.
Should we make a pact that Connor gets to drink us when we die?
Did you say ew?
Sure,
It seems like
that's
ew.
fine. I don't.
Are we gonna get through any more of this book today, you think? I feel like we're
I
not
don't
gonna get to
Maybe
the
not.
end. But we can have our
by these pirates.
we can have our next meeting like pretty soon, though. It seems like.
We could have our next meeting next Sunday.
We
Yeah,
can have
our
our
next
next
meeting
now.
We could have our next meeting
Not-
tomorrow.
yeah. I gotta go in or something.
You guys, I love quarantine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
how
I'm
you
having
feel.
a hard time with how much I love it.
I know.
I'm afraid of it ending.
I feel bad about how great it is.
I am fine with not talking to people, and I think that it hurts some people's feelings.
Yeah.
What? Oh,
I'm
it
fine
hurts their
with
feelings.
not talking to people, and I think it hurts some people's feelings how much I'm fine with not talking to people.
You mean is it hurting their feelings now or in normal time? It hurts their
I
feelings.
mean, I think that I'm only finding out now how much it hurts their feelings in normal times.
Okay. You know, I keep thinking of that quote in The Goonies when he's like, it's our time down here. Up there, it's their time. But down here, it's our time. That's how quarantine feels to me.
Yeah.
Word.
Quarantine makes me feel a little bit guilty though. Like it really puts my own life and like reflects my own life back to me really hard without all the distractions of going outside. So it has been challenging, like in an existential way. Like I feel guilty for not, I don't know, achieving my dreams while under quarantine in some like weird. Does that make sense? Like
No way, man. It's self care. You gotta. It's okay to not be achieving everything you wanted.
I'm just eating and watching Netflix. Like that's
Great.
really what it is. And then
You watching Tiger King?
yes, have you seen
I
Tiger
know.
King?
Who
So
isn't?
good. Have you guys haven't seen? So I know Mark hasn't seen it.
Oh,
I
I've seen
haven't.
it.
I just know it's the thing to watch right now. I intend to watch it.
Oh, yeah,
Can
you'll
I
love
just
it.
ask for
Oh, you haven't seen it?
really quick? Can I just ask really quick? Do we want to? I mean, I guess there's probably no one actually streaming this at this point, but I was
What?
thinking if there was, maybe we could be nice to them and let them stop watching us talk about nothing.
Well, maybe I feel like it's been almost 3 hours. We should figure out our next meeting.
I think.
and
I think
finish
this
the
is
book.
probably a good stopping
We
point.
We should start it next at 33, which is a great number.
Yeah.
It is.
The highest degree of
and-
masonry.
Isn't that how old Jesus was?
Yep.
It's also how old I am.
Wow.
Really?
For a
Man, you're
little
so much
while.
younger than I think of you as.
I didn't realize you were
Jesus.
so young. Joe.
God damn.
I'll be 34. I'll be 34 soon.
How are you the oldest of all of us?
I'm glad. I'm glad you guys think of me as such an old ass lady.
You exist outside of time.
Wait, is anyone younger than me?
I
Am
am.
I the youngest one? I thought you were
Mark,
younger. Than me.
I thought you were 33 too, Mark.
No, I'm 31.
Oh shit! I'm the
Stop.
oldest. This sucks.
I'm in the middle. That's amazing.
Connor,
I'm
did
always
you think I was
joking.
older than you? Did you think I was older than you?
No, I'm just
That's-
remembering that I'm the oldest and how much that sucks.
How
It's
old is
fine.
that?
It's fine.
I'm 39.
Ah.
He's older than me by 10 months, I think.
That's right.
Connor has been saying that he's nearly 40 since he was like 34, though.
Well, my goal since I've been 12 is to be 65. That's my
Wow.
ideal age.
Retirement age? That's the.
Yeah, that's when I thought that I would make sense.
No, that tracks.
That's why quarantine's treating me so well.
So when do you guys want to meet up next?
Next Sunday, if it's not Easter, I have to celebrate Easter.
I could do next Sunday. I don't think it's Easter. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm fine with next Sunday. I would also do it sooner if you guys want to. Wait, are people working? People are working from home.
I'm working.
Yeah, I'm working.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. All
Who
right,
else
let's
is
do
working?
something.
Mark is working, I think.
Yeah, I'm working.
I'll tell you guys
Yeah.
what, I ain't doing shit.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. Wait, I'm working.
I
on
mean, I
Monday,
am.
too.
I'm doing all kinds of shit, but I'm not working.
Yeah.
for the men.
That's cool.
Same.
Ryan, do you get to nude model from home?
No. See, it doesn't.
You
Life
probably
modeling.
could, though.
No, because me sitting still on the other side of the screen would be the same as them drawing from a photo, which is
Yeah,
not
just
what-
take a picture of yourself and post it online and let people draw from it, and then ask
but-
for money.
That is
But
not the
that's-
point.
That's yeah.
That's
that
not
is
life drawing.
yeah. Life drawing has to be there has to be a life component.
Oh, see this? I just don't get art.
You're not missing anything.
I mean, look, yeah, I think you're all right.
Well, yeah. So just as an FYI, it's Easter is 2 weeks from today.
That's right.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely want to finish this book by then because it would be sad if Jesus was back to life and we were still talking about these old books.
Yeah, we really should also meet. I can meet later in the day on Easter so that we can begin the Earth of the New Sun on Easter.
That would be great.
Hell
Right.
yeah.
All right. Well, can
So
we
what does later in the day mean?
8.
Whenever,
Oh,
PM?
like nighttime?
Yeah. I'm supposed to be on like a day-long fucking hangout with my family that day so that we can eat a ham together, which I guess I got to locate some ham.
That's great.
you're all gonna
I
do a
was
Google
glad-
Hangout with ham
Yeah, we all got to eat ham.
on Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah.
We support you. We
Is
support
Pope
you.
Francis live streaming a mass on that day?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm surely he is, right?
He's gotta. I mean,
gotta.
the Vatican is certainly falling down on the job if he's not.
I'm pretty sure he's got to be. It's gonna be great. We have to figure out what his Twitch channel is, I guess.
Do you guys want to do 8 is pretty late though, because that means we're gonna talk till like 11 p.m.
You don't like that?
I can swing it.
We could be
I
drinking
sleep
again. We haven't drank at one of these in a while.
Sleep before
could
then.
bring
I mean,
up
if
the-
it was like 6, it would be one thing, but 8 is like.
True.
What
All
about
right,
seven?
let's see if I can extrude myself by 5.
That's a lot more doable for me, just because I am actually having to get up at a normal time for
On Easter?
my
On Monday.
for the Monday.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, if we could start at like 6 or 7, then that's pretty doable.
I would say by 6 would be ideal for me.
Yeah, I agree.
It'd be ideal. Whoa.
6 o'clock. Easter Sunday, 6 p.m.
Wow, that's the closest I've ever been to your mouth.
Wow.
It was the largest his mouth has ever been.
I think of myself
I
as being
doubt that.
inside my own mouth.
You
As
are in a
Marilyn
way.
Manson once said. Oh wait,
Okay,
doesn't
wait. So we can even figure these details out next week though, because we're meeting a week from now, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
at 11 again?
Okay.
11.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Let's do it.
1 week from
You guys,
today, we'll
this is-
finish this book.
You
Yeah.
guys, I really feel like this worked out.
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
bad.
this is pretty good.
Are
Agreed.
we still streaming?
Yeah, you want me to stop?
Yeah, stop the stream.
Everybody wave.
That's the
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Wolf.